Understanding the letter of credit. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you are involved in international trade, you know how crucial secure payment methods are. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most reliable tools in global commerce, the documentary letter of credit, or usually known as just LC. By the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of what LCs are, how they work, and why they are so important in the transactions. Let's get started. Understanding the documentary letter of credit. Our journey begins with the big picture, understanding documentary letters of credit. This is not just a document, it is a powerful financial instrument that bridges trust between buyers and sellers across borders. Let's see this. What is a letter of credits? Is a letter of credits. At its core, it is a promise from the importer's bank to pay the exporter. This payment is guaranteed if the exporter presents specific documents that fully comply with the letter of credit terms. Think of it this way. The bank's strong credit worthiness steps in, replacing the importers, which significantly reduce risks for the exporter. But here is the crucial point. Banks deal only with documents. They don't inspect the physical goods. So the bank plays a significant role in the letter of credit by substituting the credit worthiness of the importers and reducing the risk for the exporter. So the crucial point is the bank deals only with this document, not the physical products. Next, the key players in the documentary credit. What are the parties involved in the letter of credit? So in addition to the applicant, the importer, exporter, banks get involved in the letter of credit. So every LC transaction involves several key players. First, the applicant, that is the importer or the buyer, who requests the letter of credit. Then the beneficiary, that's the exporter or the seller, who receives the payment. The issuing bank is the importer's bank that issues the letter of credit. And the advising bank is typically the exporter's bank. They authenticate and advise LC to the exporters. Sometimes we also find additional bank known as the confirming bank, which adds its own payment guarantee to the letter of credits. These are the main players of or the main parts in the LC transactions. Next, let's see the types and forms of letter of credits. It is important to know that all documentary credits are irrevocable. This means once issued, they cannot be changed or cancelled without the consent of all parties involved. We primarily have two types. One is an unconfirmed letter of credits, which carries the payment obligation of just the issuing bank. And a confirmed LC, however, includes an additional payment obligation from another bank, the confirming bank, providing an extra layer of security, especially against commercial or country risks. Yeah, one thing that we need to understand here is all letter of credit by default are just irrevocable letter of credits. We mean that we don't accept revocable letter of credit, or when we say that's irrevocable, if any amendment in the terms of the LC is required, both parties need to agree on the change. So this means the exporter cannot change the contents of the letter of credit without the knowledge or without the consent of the buyer, and vice versa. So in this case, we can say all letter of credit by default are irrevocable, but the irrevocable can be divided into this confirmed and unconfirmed. When we say this the unconfirmed, the payment obligation rests solely with the issue bank. That's the responsibility of the issue bank provides promise to pay the value of the LC upon presentation of the clean documents. When you see that's the confirmed LC, so in addition to that's the issuing bank, the beneficiary or the exporter may demand the guarantees of another bank. In that case, the other bank may get involved in the LC. Usually, that's the beneficiary bank also adds its guarantee for payment um, to the beneficiary or to the exporter. The next is the LDC process. The LDC process. This diagram clearly showed us the cycle of the LDC. So let's walk through the LDC process, starting with the first few steps. Step one, it all begins with a sales contract where the importer exporter agrees that payment will be made through an LDC. So here just we can see that the letter of the cycle begins with the sales contract. The sales contract just is an agreement between the seller and the buyer. The sales contract contains all the details of the terms and conditions of the sales. So one of the conditions, one of the term is the payment method. So in this case, the exporter and the importer agree to use letter of credit as a method of payment. So this is the first steps of the LDC process. Step two, the importer or the applicant then applies to his or her bank, that's the issuing bank, to open the letter of credit in favor of the exporter. So once both parties have signed the agreement, the importer takes this contract to his home bank, that's the issuing bank, and asking the issuing bank to issue the letter of credit on behalf of or in favor of the exporter. Step 3, the issuing bank issues the letter of credit, often electronically via the SWIFT, and forwards it to the advising bank, who then verifies its authenticity. So once the issuing bank receives application from the importer, it issues the letter of credit and forwards the same to the beneficiary or the beneficiary's bank. That's the advising bank. So upon receipt of the letter of credit, the advising bank verifies or checks all the elements of the letter of credit, if any amendment is required. So we call this is step 3. Step 4, the advising bank officially notifies the exporter or the beneficiary that the LC has been issued and is accepted. Step 5, this is where the action happens. The exporter ships the goods as per the LC terms and prepares all the required shipping documents, things like the commercial invoice, the packing list, the bill of lading, and other as a required documents, and presents to the advising bank. So here, just once the exporter does receive the letter of credit, start shipments prepare the shipment, and maybe just loads the shipment on vessel on board if the shipment is by sea. So this is the movement of goods. Step 6. Once all the documents are ready, the exporter presents them to his bank, the advising bank, for an initial check against the LC terms. Once the goods are loaded on a vessel on board, the exporter presents all the required documents to the advising bank. That's for negotiation. This is the step 6. Step 7. If the documents confirm, the advising bank forward them to the issuing bank. Once the advising bank found that all the documents are prepared as per the requirements of the LC, then the advising bank will forward these documents to the issuing bank. So the next is the step 8, the issuing bank then rigorously checks the document for strict compliance with the LC. So upon receipt of the shipping document, the importer's bank thoroughly checks all the details of the commercial, all the documents, including the commercial invoice, and verifies whether all the required documents are presented as per the LC terms and conditions. That is the step 8. Step 9. If everything is in order, the importer pays the issuing bank and receives the documents, allowing them to clear customs and take possession of the goods. So importer first verifies all the required documents and checks all are prepared as per the LC terms and conditions. Then notifies the importer to collect the documents. So the importer pays the value of the goods and collects all the documents, including the bill of lading or ROA bill, to start the custom clearing. Step 10. Finally, the issuing bank remits the payment to the advising bank, and the exporter's account is credited as the payment is completed. So this is the step 7. This is we can say this is 8. This is 9, and this is 10, and so on. This is how the LC cycle looks like. So it starts with the sales contract. The importer applies LC opening application to the importer's bank. Then the issuing bank issue and forward letter of credit, and the advising bank advise the beneficiary for the issuance of the LC. Exporter ship the goods and present the required documents to the beneficiary bank for negotiation, and advising bank checks all the documents, verifies the correctness, and forwards to the issuing bank. The issuing bank present document for payment to the importer. Then the importer pays the proceeds and collects the shipping documents and starts custom clearing to clear the goods from the custom and deliver to the warehouse. This is how the LC cycle looks like. Next, the golden rules, strict compliance. This is a very critical point for LC. The golden rule. These perhaps the most critical takeaways. The golden rules of strict compliance. Every single document presented to the bank must precisely match every requirement stated in the letter of credit. Even a minor type or a minor inconsistency can lead to discrepancies, and banks are obliged to refuse payment until those discrepancies are resolved. This rule protects everyone but demands clear attention to detail from the export. This is very critical. This is very important in the letter of credits. So the first principle is document presented to the bank must precisely match every single requirement set in the letter of credit. So the exporter should strictly follow the requirement of the LC while he or she is preparing the shipment document. No more, no less. So strict compliance to the LC is a requirement for payment. Number two, no exception. Even minor discrepancies can lead to payment refusals. You know that it is it's not uncommon to see that some discrepancies in the documents. We cannot have 100% clean documents in the illicit transactions. There is always error. There is always from minor to a big violation of the LC. If minor errors are just minors, with the consultation of the importer, the issuing bank can waiver and accept the error or the discrepancies. If the discrepancy is a big violation of the letter of credit terms, the issuing bank can refuse or decline payments of these documents. Or sometimes if the error is just minor and the importer accepts the discrepancies, the issuing bank may deduct some discrepancy fees based on the amount stated in the letter of credit. Then the third point is the bank's obligations. Banks are obliged to pay only when documents are strictly compliant. You know, if there is a discrepancy, the importer has the right to reject the documents. All right. The issuing bank has the right to refuse payments of documents. So the issuing bank always asks the importer whether does he or she accepts the discrepancies to transfer payment to the beneficiary banks. Next, the basic fields, basic fields of the letter of credit. When just you have a document known as the letter of credit, there are just basic things that we need to know. We call them as the fields. On the left side of the document, we usually find numbers and letters. So these numbers are not just put for to keep the numerical order of the text, as they represent meaning. Every number in the letter of credit represents uh, a certain meaning. For example, it says 20. 20 always represents documentary credit number. 23 represents the issuing bank reference. 31C, it's always show the date of issue. 31D meaning date and the place of expiry. 32B means currency code and amount. Let's say 44C means the latest date of shipment. And 46 always shows documents required under the LC. 47E usually show the additional condition. So when we prepare the document, we need to also see the additional condition section of the letter of credit. 48 represents the period of presentations. 50 the names of applicant. 59 names of beneficiary, and so on and so on. Anyway, when you see the letter of credits and see numbers and letters at the side of the left side of the document, don't forget that these numbers and letters represent a certain description of the letter of credit. The next slide shows us the crucial letter of credit checklist before you ship. You know this. As an exporter, when does your bank calls and advise you that the issuance of a letter of credit, before does you start processing the shipment, you should go through each and every line of the letter of credit to check that whether does you can comply with the requirements of the letter of credit. Some of the checklists are: one, bank reputability. This is very important. Bank reputability. Is the issuing bank reputable? This is very critical. You know, the payments of the shipment relies on the issuing bank. If the issuing bank is not trustworthy, that means you are at risk in the payments of the goods. Is LC irrevocable? Actually, this is by default an irrevocable. The International Chamber of Commerce simply says that every LC by default is irrevocable. Accuracy check, meaning that are all the names, your name, the supplier's name, the buyer's name, address, the value of the goods amount, the currency of the letter of credit, the product description of the goods. Are all these accurate? You need to check. Verify that all the names, address, amount, currency, good descriptions, whether that's all this information is as per the contract or not. That's the checking point. The terms of alignment. Does the LC or do the LC terms align with your sales contract? You need to check. Logistic check. Are partial shipment allowed? Can you meet the latest date of shipment? You know, sometimes the latest date of shipment may be very short that you cannot meet or you cannot ship the goods within the stated. So if you aren't unable to ship within this specified date, you need to ask the seller, the buyer, to extend the latest date of shipment. Documents obtainability. Can you acquire all listed documents? You know, what if this sometimes the buyer asks you to present a document that you cannot issue or you cannot collect from any government bodies. So check that the types of document and the number of originals and copies required. Do you obtain all this? That's very important. You know, sometimes some documents cannot be issued 2 or 3. For example, the certificate of origin, usually there is only one original and the rest duplicates. What if the buyer asks you to present 2 original certificate documents? This is not acceptable. So you need to check the quantity and the types of documents required in the letter of credits. Amendments, if anything is unsatisfactory, if you feel that some section of the LC must be amended, don't ship the goods until the LC is amended. This is very important. List some of the essential documents for the LC transactions. I will show you some of the critical documents. You always find in the 46A section of the LC the required documents like commercial invoice details, commercial invoice, packing list, bill of lading, certificate of origin, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it depends on what the buyer requires for the shipment of these goods. So when we say this commercial invoice, we're talking about the document that details the transaction, like description of the product, the quantity of the product, unit price of the product, and the total amount of the product. And this amount should match with The LC, exactly. Sometimes the LC tolerates 10% plus or minus. Packing list, it provides details of the goods shipped, like description of the product, quantity of the product, packaging condition of the product, gross weight, gross net weights of the product, marks, if marks put on the package, um, dimension of the pallets, if the goods are palletized. The third document is the bill of lading. This is the list of goods, contract of carriage, and title of the goods. This is an evidence that shows the goods are actually loaded on vessel on board. And it includes the name of the ship, name of consignee, notify party, product description, weights of the goods, uh, container number, and so on. So on. Certificate of the origin, it confirms the country where goods were produced. This is the origin of the goods. It verifies or it assures that these goods are a product of a certain country. These are also as critical. You need to understand as what are the required documents indicated, listed under the letter of credits. Next, let's see how letter of credit practically looks like. Let's see this. This is the letter of credit. Remember that's the numbers and letters put at the left side of the document. This look this the numbers. The numbers. Hmm? There is no description what this number represents, but by default, each number shows or represents a description. Um, the first is 40A. It says this letter of credit is irrevocable. This is the types of letter is irrevocable. 20 means that's the reference or the LC number. This is the LC number. When you see this 20, you say, oh, this is the document number. When you see this the 31C, this shows the issuing date of the letter of credits. We read from right to left. 11 is the date, this is the month, and this is the year. So this letter of credit is issued on the 11th of July 2025. And this is the custom uniform version. This is issued with reference to UCP, the Uniform Custom Procedures. And this critically shows the date and place of expiry, when and where the LC is expired. So it said as France, this LC is expired in France. When it is expired, it will be expired on the 9th of October 2025. And this is the name of the applicant. In this case, that's the Auschwitz Shirt Company. And this is the address. 59 represents the name of the beneficiary. Laboratories, the Jordan, Celerin, and so on. And 32B represents the amount of the LC. This is 10,891.5. When the beneficiary can negotiate, uh, in France with any bank. P represents partial shipment, allowed. T represents transshipment, it is allowed. And this is Let's check. This is um, you know 40C. This is latest date of shipment. These goods must be shipped by 18 September 2025. And the next is the 45A, that is the description of the product. Just we order this product, distiller, extractor, DAO, that fully described for my invoice number, this and this. 46A, these are the required documents. Number one, it says signed commercial invoice specifying the breakdown of the cost and freight charge in 3 originals and 3 copies of which all originals certified by the Chamber of Commerce. This is important. Commercial invoice should be certified by the Chamber of Commerce. This is good. And second document is the packing list. This is the public signed packing list in 3 originals and 3 copies. And number 3, package to be marked. This is it tells us about the label of the package. And number 4, it says that chamberized and original certificate of origin is required. Number 5, clean airway bill is required. These are just the basic documents that the exporter is going to present to his own bank upon shipments of the goods. Let's see the additional conditions. This is exceptional condition, additional conditions that the importer usually puts. Number 1, origin of goods must be France. Number 2, insurance covered by the buyer. Number 3, difference in shipping will not be acceptable. Number 4, different currencies between documents not acceptable. Number 5, another additional documents. So when does you prepare the shipping documents, make sure that all the documents will align with the requirements of the letter of credits. These are just the articles of the letter of credits which shows different conditions of the shipment. Finally, just to wrap up or to conclude, understanding documentary letter of credit is essential for secure and efficient international trade. They provide a vital layer of security, but success depends on strict adherence to the detail. If you found this video helpful, please give a thumb up, subscribe for more international trade insights, and let us know in the comments if you have any question or topics you'd like to us to cover next. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.